father is most unsatisfied.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the animated fathers who don't deserve a world's greatest dad mug based on how they neglected or mistreated their kids.
I'm a terrible father.
Number 20, Hugh Test, Johnny Test. We have to cut Hugh Test a little slack. Being a stay-at-home dad taking care of 3 kids is no easy task.
Okay, well then get me my camera back from the mole people before dinner, or no video games, no comic books, and no dookie. Until you're 30. Oh, and dinner's at 6.
It's even harder when said kids embark on wild misadventures every day, and your wife is rarely ever home to help out. Despite his efforts, Hugh's fatherly skills still leave a lot to be desired. He's very strict and obsessed with keeping the house clean. Worst of all, he'll threaten the kids with ridiculous punishments for the most trivial reasons. If you're not home by dinner time, you can say goodbye to your favorite activity forever. Or worse, face the horror of eating his dreadful meatloaf.
I'm making a meatloaf.
Number 19, Professor Membrane, Invader Zim. Professor Membrane is arguably one of the most brilliant and insane scientists in the world.
Dad! They're coming! I heard them! I actually heard them. I was up on the roof, and I heard this transmission was coming through.
Shh, not now, son. I'm making toast.
Unfortunately, such a profession has a negative effect on his kids, Dib and Gas. He's often so wrapped up in his lab work that they are lucky to see him in person once a year. The rest of the time, he relies on drones and pre-recorded messages to keep an eye on them. To make matters worse, Professor Membrane completely disregards Dib's supernatural beliefs, publicly regarding his son's passion as foolishness.
It's time to move on, son. Real science. Try it.
While this doesn't mean he doesn't love his kids, it just seems scientifically impossible for any of that love to translate to actual parenting. Number 18, Randall Ran Ridley, Inside Job. For the longest time, poor Reagan struggled to form real connections with other people. There's perhaps no one that bears the brunt of that blame for this than her dear old dad, Rand.
Has retirement made you go completely insane?
No, but the 5G radio waves in the air have.
Even during her childhood, Rand never bothered to show his daughter any genuine affection. Instead, he invented a robot bear to give her hugs so he wouldn't have to, and it scarred her for life. Worse yet, Rand tampered with Reagan's memories and kept her isolated to further his own selfish goals. Sure, there are moments when he actually seems to care for his daughter, but it's always too little, too late.
Why don't you let me erase both our memories of this little incident and we can go back to normal?
Sometimes distancing yourself from a problematic family member is the best thing for everyone. Number 17, Gabriel Agress, Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. We chuckle at how cartoony Gabriel Agress is as a villain, but underneath the theatrics lies a complex monster. He's cold, distant, and overprotective of his only son, Adrian, trying to control every aspect of his life.
It was the sensible thing to do, Amelie.
That was very thoughtful of you, Father.
As a supervillain, he frequently schemes to steal our titular heroes, Miraculous, to further his own goals, and he doesn't shy away from using innocent citizens to do his bidding. When Gabriel learns that Adrian is Cat Noir, not much changes. He continues to manipulate him, but now it feels so much worse as he's exploiting his son's emotional vulnerabilities.
I'm doing it for her, Adrian. For you. For us.
Father? Why?
While we sympathize with Gabriel's desire to revive Adrian's late mother, the end clearly doesn't justify the means when you're gaslighting your own child. Number 16, Stan Smith, American Dad. As a CIA agent, there's hardly anyone as patriotic as Stan Smith. He excels at showing his love for America, but falls completely flat at fatherhood.
Stan, don't you think you were a little harsh with Steve in there?
I'm tired of his constant pleas for a dog. It's dog, dog, dog all day long. You think you can get something just by saying it enough?
While Stan cares for his family, he can be an extreme control freak, and this overbearing attitude weighs heavily on his kids, Steve and Haley. Stan disapproves of Steve's soft, nerdy nature and tries to mold him into his own version of a man. On top of that, he constantly butt heads with the rebellious Haley, especially over their different political beliefs. But we'll give credit where it's due. At least Stan is usually there for his kids, which is more than we can say for his own father, Jack.
I can't believe you chose a life of crime over the most precious jewel of all, a son's love.
Ooh, hold on a second. Hello, French Riviera? Yes, can I buy a chateau with my son's love?
Yes, we all know the bit.
Number 15, Drew Pickles, Rugrats. Being a good father means being able to discipline your child when necessary. Unfortunately, Drew Pickles never quite learned this lesson when it came to raising Angelica.
Oh, let's face it, Angelica's a spoiled little brat and everyone knows it. How could this have happened? I mean, is it spoiling a child to buy her a few new toys every day?
He absolutely adores his daughter and, unlike his wife, actually makes time for her. But the thing is, he's a total pushover, always hesitant to lay down the law and usually caves to Angelica's every need. This results in her becoming a spoiled princess. When Drew does punish Angelica, it's frankly always shocking, but we all know he'll be bending over backwards for her by the following week.
Now, what do you say, Angelica?
Sorry, Mr. Finster.
And she's not gonna get dessert for a whole week.
What?
Drew can criticize his little brother Stu all he wants, but let's be real, he's not exactly in a position to talk. Number 14, Cotton Hill, King of the Hill. One of the undeniable highlights of King of the Hill is watching Hank and Bobby grow closer as father and son. Unfortunately, Hank's relationship with his own father is far from heartwarming.
Hey, what you crying for, boy? It's a good show. This is a damn good show.
Yeah, that's also how he taught me about paying taxes.
Cotton Hill is a short-tempered, short-statured war veteran who's determined to make the world around him as miserable as he is. Throughout Hank's childhood, Cotton constantly berated and undermined him, and this mistreatment only got worse as he grew up. Just as an example, Cotton named his newborn son Good Hank to spite the actual Hank. We won't deny the hardships Cotton faced during the war, but that doesn't excuse the generational trauma he inflicted on his son.
You hate me, do you? After all the love I allowed your mother to give you. Well, Merry Christmas and stay out.
Number 13, Mr. Turner, the Fairly Odd Parents. We'll always be thankful to Mr. Turner for giving us some of this show's funniest memes. That said, he's still a terrible dad.
Where were you? There was a 15-second period I had no idea where you were.
Jeez, Dad, relax. Would Mom get this upset?
I don't know. Let's ask her while I'm drinking a glass of water.
He's incredibly silly, often going off on some frivolous adventure with his equally clueless wife, leaving their only son at the mercy of Icky Vicky. Besides being negligent and twice as childish as Timmy, Mr. Turner's antics frequently put his family at risk of mortal danger. While there are plenty of times when he tries to do the right thing for Timmy, the bad moments tend to outweigh the good ones. And let's not forget, his wife is barely any better.
Timmy, I stole these berries from an angry monkey. Would you try them to see if they're poisonous?
Number 12, Butterscotch Horseman, BoJack Horseman. BoJack's father, Butterscotch, was long dead before the series even began. But the flashbacks we're shown paint a bleak picture of the nightmarish childhood BoJack endured.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy.
What is this supposed to be, a lima bean?
It's a heart.
That's some shoddy craftsmanship, son.
I tried my best.
No, you didn't.
Butterscotch couldn't have cared less for his family, and he became overly dependent on alcohol. He barely gave his son the time of day, and when he did, it was to dish out more physical and emotional pain. Worst of all, he used alcohol to try and manipulate BoJack, which only contributed to his own dependency issues. It's debatable which parent had a stronger impact on BoJack's life, but there's no doubt that Butterscotch's parenting was deplorable. May he hardly rest in peace.
Some days are the one day that are just for me and my craft, and still you and the black hole that birthed you conspire to ruin it for me.
Number 11, Rick Sanchez, Rick and Morty. Everybody loves to point out how pathetic Jerry is as a father and a person. But is Rick any better? It's complicated.
You would rather believe I'm evil than admit that you were a bad father?
Oh, dude, no. No, bad father all the way to the max over here.
On one hand, he cared enough to travel across dimensions to avenge his family's deaths, and even took the time to start a new one with their counterparts. On the other hand, the way he treats his current family is pretty messed up. He frequently endangers and traumatizes his grandchildren and enables his daughter's problematic traits, all while seeking short-term solutions to his problems rather than permanent ones.
I don't discuss problems, I incinerate them.
At least he can admit that he's a bad father, but only time will tell if he can change for the better. Number 10, Trigon the Terrible, Teen Titans. While some people can say they have bad fathers, not everyone can relate to one that threatened the fate of the universe.
You aren't here. You can't be.
am always with you. You are part of me. Forever.
Get out!
There is no stopping what is about to happen.
Later on in this animated series, it's revealed that Trigon is the real father of Teen Titan member Raven, and it's safe to say that they haven't seen eye to eye on a majority of issues ever since she was born. The omnipotent Demon King possesses absolutely no empathy and seeks to conquer Earth in spite of his own daughter's vow to protect it. Perhaps the only thing Raven has inherited from dear old dad is his powerful demonic power, which also prevents him from besting her in combat.
You may have created me, but you were never my father.
Number 9. Robert Big Bob Pataki. Hey Arnold. The king of Big Bob's Beepers has 2 daughters. However, the way he raves about his eldest child would lead most to believe he only has one.
She's here! She's here!
Mommy! Daddy!
Welcome home, princess!
When not absorbed in his chain of beeper emporiums, Big Bob can be seen blatantly favoring Olga over his younger and less achieving daughter Helga. If you were wondering how bad this favoritism gets, it's to the point that he sometimes forgets Helga's name and just refers to her as Olga instead.
Who's taking me to preschool?
Yeah, in a minute, Olga.
No, I'm Helga, Dad. Helga.
Whatever. Go play outside, would you?
This has resulted in Helga adopting a rebellious and even resentful attitude toward her father, and has also driven a wedge between her and her big sister. Number 8. Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob SquarePants. Most dads couldn't put a price on the happiness of their daughters, but this crustacean isn't like most dads.
Keep away from my precious little flower! You almost stepped on it.
Oh, Daddy!
There happens to be nothing in the 7 seas that Mr. Krabs enjoys more than money, which can often pose a problem to Pearl. Despite the fact that she's his one and only daughter, Mr. Krabs can't bring himself to sacrifice a dime for her and will obtain the crudest substitute for her many requests.
You ruined everything! You couldn't stop being cheap, even for me!
But as the owner of Krusty Krab is also unable to see Pearl disappointed, Mr. Krabs will often send his own employees as scapegoats in attempts to take the heat off of him. Number 7. Steven Stotch, South Park. Most of the parents in South Park are even less mature than their kids and hilariously incompetent to boot.
What keeps a family together, Butters?
A well-organized pantry.
Take Randy Marsh, for example, whose antics always leave his kids utterly embarrassed. But the real crown for worst dad goes to Butters' father, Steven. Butters is arguably the most innocent kid in town. Yet, his father berates and punishes him over the smallest issues and barely wants to hear his side of the story. At this point, it has become a running gag for Butters to get grounded for no reason, which Steven always claims is for his own good. In reality, it seems the only lesson Butters needs to learn is to steer clear of his dad.
I want no playing, no reading, and no thinking about fun stuff. You are being grounded.
Number 6. Homer Simpson, The Simpsons. Unfortunately for this cartoon dad, you don't get an A for simply showing up. Homer can be described as a very simple man with a less than stellar childhood, which he often cites as the cause for his poor parenting skills.
No offense, Homer, but your half-assed underparenting was a lot more fun than your half-assed overparenting.
But I'm using my whole ass.
Dad, it's just that too much of your love can really be scary.
When he's not at work or sitting on the couch with a cold one, he's incredibly lost when trying to effectively communicate with his kids. Homer often employs harsh disciplinary actions against his misfit of a son Bart, is in no way supportive of his daughter Lisa's mental gifts, and we're still not sure if he even knows of his infant Maggie's existence.
At that time, I had no idea Maggie even existed.
Dad!
Hi, Maggie!
Number 5. Martin Mertens, Adventure Time. Being separated from your father at birth can be tough, but it can be even tougher once you find out why. With his true father's identity a mystery to him for most of his life, Finn finally receives the opportunity to rescue Martin Mertens from the Citadel.
Oh, we don't have a Star Skipper.
Also, Finn's your son.
What? No Star Skipper.
Ahem. I said, Finn's your son. He came a long way to meet you.
Son? Oh. Hey, good for you, kid.
However, upon coming face to face with his long-lost son, Martin displays no signs of happiness. Though he does show plenty of signs of relief about escaping. A truly selfish and uncaring guy, the truth is soon revealed. Martin never lost Finn to begin with. He actually abandoned him in the woods, after which he was found and raised by Joshua, who pushed Finn and his adoptive brother Jake to fight when they needed to.
What do you want, baby? Why are you crying? Margaret, this baby won't tell me what's wrong with it, and it's stuck to a leaf, and it stinks.
Number 4, Clay Puppington, moral Oral. We're still scratching our heads trying to figure out how a sweet kid like Oral ended up with a father like Clay Puppington.
Oh, come on. Can't we have one good night?
Every trait that Oral possesses, Clay is the exact opposite. He's unreasonably strict, controlling, and overdependent on alcohol. He openly resents his wife and stepson while treating Oral like a puppet, manipulating him emotionally and mistreating him physically. His own childhood was a mess, so naturally, he's made it his life's mission to ensure that his family and the citizens of Morrilton share his pain.
They're all worthless, kid. Every woman. Don't let them get you. All of them want to get you. They just grab you and pull you into them.
The only decent thing Clay ever did was conceive Oral, and we're happy to say that he inherited absolutely none of his father's vile traits. Number 3, Dr. Jonas Venture Sr., the Venture brothers. For a while, Rusty Venture seemed like a pretty inept parent, often neglecting his 2 sons and treating them like they were expendable.
If it makes you feel any better, the ones you knew weren't the originals. We've been through this, I don't know, how many times, Brock?
This'll be 14.
Sadly, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. On the surface, Rusty's father, Jonas, was the dashing, charismatic leader of the original Teen Venture. Behind the mask, however, he's a sociopathic and manipulative man who gambles with the lives of everyone around him, especially his own son. He exposed Rusty to violence and sex early on and showed little regard for his safety. As far as he's concerned, he can always make another Rusty. Thankfully, Rusty improved as a dad over time, but he forever remained in his own father's horrible shadow.
Remember, Rusty, in here I'm your doctor, not your father. Now, let's get back to it, shall we? You were telling me how you're ungrateful for all the opportunities your father's given you, and you blame me for all your problems.
Number 2. Fire Lord Oai, Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's tough love, and then there's just being a horrible father.
That's another thing. I'm not taking orders from you anymore.
You will obey me, or this defiant breath will be your last.
Ozai subjected both his son Zuko and daughter Azula to a cruel and harsh upbringing in hopes that one of them would one day succeed him as Fire Lord. As Azula harbored some of the same sadistic properties as her father, she soon became highly favored, while Zuko became horribly disfigured and was banished from the Fire Clan.
Rise and fight, Prince Zuko.
I won't fight you.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher.
Azula would soon recognize the evil in her father's way, though, as his lack of compassion or approval later caused her to go completely mad.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Peter Griffin, Family Guy. If a grown man must regularly be fathered himself, it's safe to say he shouldn't have any kids of his own.
Hey, Chris, come here.
What? Why?
Just come here.
What is it, Dad?
Does it feel like the water suddenly just got warmer?
No.
Oh, that's right. It's pee that makes it warmer.
Peter's incompetence may only be matched by his carelessness, making his own wife untrusting of his supervision over his kids. Unlike his father-in-law Carter Pewterschmidt, Peter doesn't have the means to buy his children's affection and has even admitted to not having any interest in them. Whenever he isn't ignoring his kids, Peter is regularly seen tormenting or insulting them, which is a fate that more often than not falls on his least favorite, Meg.
Now, where was I? Oh, yeah.
Who do you think was the worst animated daddy? Let us know in the comments down below if we missed any particularly heinous ones. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more Watch Mojo videos.
Listen, Finn, no answer I give you will be satisfying. Besides, it was like 40 years ago.
I'm 16.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.